Hi, I'm Lynn Bridgeford from the Aether Bios Clinic and Aether Bios Yoga, and today we're going to look at toning the legs. So when we talk about the legs, we have the hip joint, we have the knee joint, we have the ankle joint, and all of the feet and toe joints, as well as all the muscles associated with that. So get comfortable where we do something for every possible level of strength and flexibility and fitness, so that you can start from the very basics or do the more advanced options. So get comfortable and join me in toning the legs. None of this replaces any medical care, and please be careful that whatever you do feels good and feels comfortable. You can have a little bit of a muscle ache after you've done strengthening, but it shouldn't be too much, and it should be that nice feeling of having used a muscle. A really good exercise for legs is walking. So we're using all of the joints of the leg while we're walking and quite a lot of the muscles. I'm going to weave these exercises into everyday tasks like standing up, sitting down, walking, so that you can add them into things you do and build up your strength on a daily basis. So first of all, we're going to look at the quadriceps and the hamstrings. So something we do every day is we sit down and we stand up. So we look at sitting down. What we need to do to sit is we need to bend at the hips, stick the bottom out, and we're going to use the quadriceps as we stand up and use the hamstrings as we sit down. So pushing the floor away, we use the quadriceps. Sitting down, we're using the hamstrings. So a common thing that people do when they sit up and down is they go boom and come up like that. In sitting down and standing up, it's important to keep the neck in neutral, not being stiff, just to keep everything nice and relaxed so we're not sticking the head out and creating a tension. So bend at the hips, sit down. So what we can practice is kind of squatting. So when you're going to sit down in your chair, before you sit, hover for a moment, let the legs work, and then sit down. And when you get up, hover for a moment so you're activating the hamstrings, and stand up. You can do this in a chair, however it's very good if you've got a ball to just have a little bounce, and as you bounce you're using the quadriceps, so you stand up and you hover and you've got this lift off from the ball. And then when you come down, you're using the hamstrings. We can do a simple exercise to help the quadriceps by lifting up one leg and then the other. So we're activating the quadriceps, lifting up one and then the other, however high or low you can go. And then the hamstrings, we're going to lift the foot up behind, so it's a little bit like you're shuffling forwards, pushing something away with your foot. So you can lift the foot up, or you can lift it higher up. So these are muscles we use in walking, so you can lift them more towards your bottom. Aim to give yourself a kick in the bottom, or you can just lift them up a little behind you, depending on what you're able to do. To start to use the feet, we lift the heel up and push into the foot, so we're stretching but we're activating as well. And to get a little further, we can go into a prance, so you lift the foot up off the floor, push the floor away, so we're working all of the lower leg. And you can lift that up higher, or you can start to prance it and get some action through the ankles, keeping the knee above the ankles. You can also work with those sitting. It doesn't have to be a ball. Lift up, and you can, if you can get the strength to do that, you push the floor away and lift up. You can hold on to something if you need to. We're going to go stronger with the ankles and rise up and come down. Rise up, so we're working the lower leg and the feet. Rise up and come down, rise up and come down. We can do a bend and then a rise up and then lift up and then come down. Bend, lift the heels, come up and heels down. We can do the reverse. Come up on the toes, bend the knees, bring the heels down and straighten. Come up on the toes, bend the knees, bring the heels down and straighten. So you can hold on to something. You can do that on one leg using the hamstring to lift up, always using the core with any exercises we're doing to keep the core strength. Lift up and down, up and down. And on the other side, hamstring brings the leg up behind us. Strong leg, come up and down, come up and down, up and down. We can also do one-legged lift up, bend, heel down, straighten, rise up, bend, heel down, and straighten. The other side, rise up, bend, heel down, and straighten, rise up, bend, heel down, and straighten. We can do the reverse. Use the hamstring to bring one leg up. I'm going to bend, rise up, straighten, and down, bend, rise up, straighten, and down. Change legs, bend, rise up, straighten, and down, bend, rise up, straighten, and down, bend, rise up, straighten, and down. In between any toning and strengthening we're doing, it's good to just have a little wiggle and ease everything out, and it's good to have a rest between doing strength and toning. So you do as many repetitions as works for you. If the muscles start to get too tired, have a break, go back to it. A simple way to activate the inner thigh muscles is using your fists between the legs. So we're not engaging the knees, you're just above the knees and you're using your hands at the same time. So squeeze the knees together and relax. Press the hands against the knees, knees against the hands, so we're activating the inner thigh muscles. And again, push and relax. So do the outer muscles, we go the opposite way. So push and resist and relax. Push against the knees, push out. We're keeping the rest of the body nice and straight. Push out and push in and push out. A ball is a lovely way to work the inner thigh muscles, so you can have a big hard cushion and you squeeze and relax. So using your core is a little bit like riding a horse. Squeeze and relax. We're not aiming to come up, it's just as we squeeze, the ball brings us up. So we want to keep a good alignment with the knees, so the knees are facing over the toes. We don't want to hurt anything while we're doing any of these exercises. Another way to do the inner thigh and the outer thigh, having a straight leg as long as it doesn't put a strain on your knee, is to take either an elastic band, or you have these machines at the gym where you hook a band around your foot and you're pulling in. So coming in towards you, that would do the adductor. For some people this may be enough and you may need to hold on to something. And the other side. So if you have resistance bands or weights in the gym, make sure that you're not distorting anything else. Equally, you can go out to the side by having a belt from that side, so you'd have to have your foot either a little in front or behind and push out. If you want a more specific angle on the tensor fasciae lata, you turn the foot in a little and push that way, keeping the knee above the foot. That means you'd have to get yourself next to your band or your machine and have a little wiggle, let everything ease out. We're also going to look at balance, because balance is really important in what's called proprioception, so that's our body knowing where it is. And to be able to improve our balance, the important thing is to be able to stand on one leg. Standing on one leg, bring the hip above the knee and the knee above the ankle. We're going to lift in the core so we're not letting this go soft. So we strengthen the leg into the floor, grow nice and tall through the top of the head. You could bring your hands on your hips, wherever you want, just somewhere to put them, and bring your foot up next to the other foot. If you bring it too high, it's a long way to fall down. So if you know your balance isn't very good yet, or you've had an injury you're recovering from, just keep that low. We're aiming for 30 seconds. So if you fall down, just come down, come back up again. There's not far to fall. Set it up, keep your connection to your midline. This will be strengthening your feet, your ankles, your knees, your entire leg, and helping your nervous system. So the other side, strong leg rooting in the floor, engage the kneecap and thigh, lift up out of the hip, strong planted foot on the floor, hands on the hips, bring the foot up. And find something to look at. Another important thing in balance is having something to focus on. So again, if you fall down, come back up, get that strength, come back up. And we're aiming for 30 seconds. I tell some of my students to do it while they're brushing their teeth. So that's the first stage, is to do it standing on one leg with your eyes focusing on something. Second stage will be closing the eyes. Third stage is turning the head. So each stage is a little bit more of a challenge. Start with the 30 seconds with the eyes open. And stay safe that you don't fall over and hurt yourself. Another thing that's really important is to be able to sit down and stand up from the floor. Now, if you have injuries or are older and are not able to do this, please don't do it and hurt yourself. However, if you know you're close to doing it, you can put a hand down, you can hold something. What we're looking for is to sit down without touching anything but your feet and your bottom on the floor, and then stand up again the same. So anything that touches the floor that isn't your feet and your bottom, you take a point off 10, and we're aiming for 10 out of 10. So it takes some strength, it takes some flexibility in the joints. Please make sure you're even okay to have a go with this, and that it's not a strain coming up and down. We practice things, they get easier with time and with practice. Walking is a really good all-round exercise. Make sure you've got the right shoes and you're walking on a good surface, and use your core, get the strength in the legs. If you have a little rebounder at home, that's very good to walk on or to have a little jog on, because it's easy on the joints and they're great fun too. You can put some music on and just get some strength in the legs and get some cardiovascular fitness going. One of the things that's really important for us to be able to do as humans and to do safely is to lift. Many people come with back problems and they're unable to lift things, they're unable to lift their shopping, unable to lift their children or their grandchildren. And one of the really important things in training lifting, apart from keeping the spine nice, is squatting and positioning. To pick something up, we want to position ourselves right over it, feet apart, do our sitting, so bending like a squat, nice straight spine, so we're actually using the legs rather than the back. Use the core, back straight, come down, take hold of what it is, then we're going to use the knees and the hips and snatch up as we come up. Same in putting it down. So we're going to use our squat like we're sitting down in a chair. We've got strong quads, strong hamstrings, keep the neck in neutral once we're down there. Have ourselves close to what we're lifting up, take hold of it, and then we're going to push the feet into the floor, straighten up the knees and straighten up in the hips. And we do a little pelvic tilt at the end to get that strength. Squatting down, bottom goes behind you like you're sitting on a chair, neck in neutral. Get yourself over what you're lifting, hold it, press the feet down, use the core and lift up. Same would be for putting it down. We do it in reverse, so we're going to squat, stick the bottom out, we're using the legs, bring it down, let go. So this is a basic training in lifting, and we all really need to be able to lift something about 25 kilograms. And even if somebody's had back problems, I start to train them in lifting because it's part of life. And we want to be able to build up to what we can lift rather than taking something too heavy. So please enjoy the toning exercises, stay safe, stay within your limits. You'll get where you want to go by doing baby steps and building up within your limits. And we want to avoid injury, build strength, build tone, build health and build cardiovascular fitness at the same time. Thank you so much. That's Lynn Bridgford, Aether Bios. Thank you for joining me. I'm passionate about sharing my yoga journey and all the wonderful things that yoga has to offer for our life and our benefit. And I really look forward to sharing more with you and hope you join me more on my journey. Please like, subscribe, chat to me, ask me any questions, and connect with me on my other channels. There's YouTube, there's Instagram, there's LinkedIn, my Facebook page, my website. So thank you so much. That's Lynn Bridgford, Aether Bios Yoga.